Okay, so
Clearly worked out for him.
17 minutes flat.
17 minutes flat, dude.
Last week.
For context,
some of the challenges.
this is an interview of a good father.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good father who lets his son get molested and doesn't know any of his children's age.
Well, I mean, who doesn't know Matt Roloff? I'm just gonna assume Slub45 knows who Matt Roloff is.
Yeah.
Of you being a
This man's been on TV for 20 years.
How often you could see the grandkids, and how did the pandemic kind of play into your relationship with the kids and the grandkids?
Well, obviously, COVID has affected everybody.
Well, obviously, Amy is complicated.
We're
that.
very, very blessed
see him.
and fortunate that we have this farm. This is 110 acres with many buildings and sleeping quarters and kitchens.
But everything's out in the open.
Pirate ship.
We call this our bubble.
I got cameras everywhere, so
we get tested regularly.
Nothing bad's happening.
Send in test kits and send them out to labs. So we get tested. I get tested almost every week during the pandemic.
Almost every day.
That I'm not getting it and passing it on. So, but we
That's an insane thing.
We've been doing the mask.
He's not. He's not.
Fully vaccinated now for the last couple of months.
Then why would you still be doing the testing once a week?
We were crossing our fingers and praying that nobody got the COVID, nobody brought the bubble.
He's got to fill this. He's got to talk for 50 minutes.
But I haven't had to. Not see the grandkids.
This guy's like, Matt, you want that $500?
Although we were
Yeah.
trapped in Arizona for a little because the travel restrictions came up. So Karen and I happened to be down in Arizona when they put some heavy-duty restrictions down, so we missed them for about 3 months last year.
Yeah, they just chilled in Arizona for 3 months.
I wanted to see my
absolutely
grandkids.
devastating.
No one wants to sit in the sunny state of Arizona for 3 months in the wintertime.
Couldn't get on a plane. Driving
When they said I couldn't see him for 3 months, I went, oh no.
Eating the sandwiches. Karen had this
Yeah,
amazing good
while I was drinking my
car that we
margarita watching the sunset.
drove all the way back to Oregon.
Oh, that's terrible.
To
Ivan.
get back to
This could last a year? Oh no, that's so terrible.
Then wait the quarantine period. Anyway,
But he wouldn't leave the
hasn't
farm
been fun
unattended for that
anybody.
long.
Everybody's
No, you just pay all his Mexicans to do it.
And it's been the same for Rolls, but for the most part,
He does just have a bunch of Mexicans working
Yeah,
for
I'm
him.
going to touch a little bit more
Or like,
on the farm's impact from COVID.
Yeah, I know.
Central
Remember
Americans
that
or
one-
something.
Bringing it to the kids.
Remember that one
What
photo?
would you say has been the favorite attraction? I know you got a lot of
That one photo from the Little People Big Tards series?
Yeah.
That was in no way Photoshopped by me.
things. I've been able to take the tour of the farm here. You got projects going on all over the place. What's been the favorite attraction of your kids? What's like the home run attraction for the kids that come during pumpkin season? What's the home run ball here?
Well, it shifts around the home.
Keeps referring to baseball.
My kids, I built all these fancy structures, the Noah's Ark and the tree house and the castle.
He built an ark?
We had the Tower of Terror.
Probably.
And my kids just love playing in the nature.
Tower of Jericho?
AKA,
We have about a 5
Twin
acre
Towers.
forest with 200 varieties of trees. Most of them are big mature. And they would build forts and dig holes, burrow into the ground, and have camp outs, play paintball. So they like my kids love the forest. That was always their favorite. People would, what do you mean? They don't like all the stuff you put? No, they love all that stuff. But the forest is just that nature, and so I think a lot.
No matter how much I built, they just wouldn't. They couldn't.
Western town. That's probably
They wouldn't love me.
Now I've got some new projects right around the corner. That you've been able to see. Thank you for making the journey out here.
He's like, yeah, Matt, it was a really impressive plane.
So the log cabin, as you know, is a big focus point for me right now. It's a cute little structure. Cabin.
Pirate ships.
That's my new favorite. Usually,
Matt's just trying to get him to fly in the wooden airplane.
My favorite. But we have some cool.
Jackson didn't even like that. Remember, he was afraid of
quite a few other.
No.
Yeah, it makes sense. And a lot
Dude, Jackson needs a bunch of surgery.
A chance to take a look at it, be inside.
Water
Can't wait to see
out
the
of his
finished
head.
product, and it'll be a lot
Yeah.
where I saw it at this stage.
It's looking close, right?
It is looking.
Matt's so
close.
disappointed.
And it reminds me of what you say there. The kids playing in the forest is like on Christmas.
Yeah, I
you buy all these
mean, kids are
elaborate
raising a
kits
bunch
and
of water
then the box
ants.
that the toy came in.
That's exactly.
That's always the biggest hit. And I know one of the focuses here too is
we're
on the future of the
1
farm.
feet away from each other, 'cause otherwise I
obviously
can't hear
have a newly strong relationship with Karen. You also have grandkids now that are just getting their first taste of the farm here. So how does all of this kind of play into your decision on what's the future of the farm going to be?
Well, obviously,
Oh, man.
Karen has been
Milk,
familiar with the
I
farm,
stirred up a
for many
hornet's
years,
nest
being both an
in a
employee
comment
here
section on a
and
video.
my dating. She's got a heart for the farm. She loved her
Good about it?
little chicken coop out there.
Oh, yeah.
And she
I got like
loved
25
interacting with
responses within these
grandkids,
first 2 hours.
Love the farm. So
Nice.
I think
People
Karen
hate me, dude.
wouldn't admit this
Because I said that the pride movement,
the beauty of the farm.
that as a straight man, I'm inundated with their fucking bullshit.
Not distracted with the project. So
And
she's getting,
saying that these people have it difficult at this point is no longer a talking point.
Retire, yeah, we'll come back to that. But
It's true. With 2
It
weeks.
really is.
it's a little bit.
As a straight man, you're constantly getting
not have as many
coomed on.
responsibilities.
Rainbows.
Here.
You're
Yeah.
constantly getting paused.
Yeah, I'm getting paused. Everything that I look at is paused now. Master Chief was holding a fucking pride flag
I
today.
do know, in general, she
Why?
probably likes to see me simplify
Master Chief.
a little bit. And
Master Chief is asexual. Master Chief is basically a fucking robot.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
About all that, but,
F's women,
but at
dude.
the same time,
Yeah, he F's Cortana.
Dude, yeah, dude, is he fucked? Is he
direction
fucked,
and,
dude?
you know,
Yeah, that's all I care about Microsoft. Is that's me,
At some
fucks.
point down the line, whatever that may
Yeah.
be,
Is he fucking
and you are away from
Got a Spartan
the farm,
hog.
from the farm where
Yeah.
this is so
Slub, you see that painting back there? That painting in the back? Fucking Pizzagate shit, man.
associated with the farm, and it's
It'd be funny if he's holding a photo of Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, the picture of him with the newspaper.
Yeah.
What would you say
in the
you miss
rifle.
the most about the farm?
The most staged picture in fucking history.
My equipment, you know,
Here's a newspaper and here's the gun I'm gonna use to kill the president.
You know, that have anything that has a joystick, I can sit in the seat and kind of control the world through big hydraulics, you know, and big grabbers
seem
and
cool.
stuff and bulldozers.
Yeah, my big clumsy fingers can fit in
I
there.
have I always have new toys coming. Like I just got a new chipper, and so that's my favorite toy.
I just got
chipping, and
a new Sibian for
it's a big day.
what's her name to sit on.
Chipper.
Yeah.
But I also have a sawmill
I'm not
that's
gonna
on the
please
way.
her.
I'm very excited. I'm gonna be able to throw
He
a
could
log
be
in there,
through. He
sit
could
in a
easily
little
get
seat
himself
and
yanked in
push
a
the
wood
log
chipper
and
so
cut
easily.
Oh yeah.
That's
His
what I
crutch-
Thresher?
his crutch-
I end up, but I'm not.
His crutch is
If he
like
just had like
Ever.
a,
I'm planning on dying.
if he just had like one of those threshers for like
The north side,
pulling
we call
up
it the
grain,
original farm, the 33 acres.
and just sucks them up into it.
You know, we're gonna figure out which one of the kids might be interested or a combination thereof. But the south side of the farm, I'm hoping to dig my grave here.
Well, I'm going to circle back to this. because
what?
One of the things I wanted to ask you is some of the stuff that I've been reading online.
Yeah, wow.
In the last 6 months. It's been a
But
different-
rewind that. What is he talking about?
Yeah,
Turn it up. Turn it up.
It's just
South
all over
side.
the farm.
Gray chipper.
Gonna bury himself
I
on
also
the
have a
south side.
sawmill that's on its way. I'm very excited. I'm gonna be able to throw a log.
Talking about how he's
in there,
gonna
sit in it,
potentially die of a wood
seat,
chipper, and then
push a log,
talk about where he's gonna be
cut
killed.
lumber. So I love. That's what I'm gonna miss the most if I end up. But I'm not planning on ever. I'm planning on dying
Passing.
here on this side of the farm. Now the north
Shit.
side, we call it the original farm, the 33 acres. You know, hopefully we're gonna figure out which one of the kids might be interested or a combination thereof. But the south side of the farm, I'm hoping to dig my grave here.
Well, I'm going to circle
He's
back
serious.
to this, too, because
He's 100%
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that I've been reading online now. In the last 6
Even
months, it's been a
Blink saying
difficult
that.
time for the Roloff family. Not only, as we mentioned here, the COVID, where you've had to make some adjustments here on the farm, but also Jacob
Zach's
came
gonna
out
keep
with
talking about it. This is
some
where
really
Dad's gonna
shocking news.
die.
He put the Instagram
Yeah.
post about his.
This is Dad's
incident.
grave.
And then we also
Zach
have
just gets
recently read
wicked
about
emo.
Your daughter,
Yeah.
in-law Tori, suffering through.
This is where my
miscarriage.
dad's
so walk me
buried.
through this. Let's start with the Jacob incident here. I read, which was a very heartwarming post that he put out on
We're talking
Instagram
about the
about
diddling.
this. That was when I, and I guess the rest of the world, became aware of this. When did you become aware of this entire thing with Jacob being molested?
We as a family found out 2 days or 2
Word.
or 3 days before that. Jacob sent out a text to the family, the group text, and
He's already getting.
it was a heartbreaking.
Gotta gulp, gotta swallow.
revelation. We it
Gonna
caught us
spray
all
that
by
menthol in my
surprise. We had
eyes.
No idea. And,
Yeah. He's like, all right.
obviously
This is what we practice,
happened,
man.
back
I
in
have no- I had no idea,
It was a single
obviously.
Incident. It didn't happen
Ridiculous.
on the farm. Happened, off the farm.
Good. Off the farm. Good.
Nowhere near my gravesite.
Raised your family and you prepared your kids for
covering the business's ass, dude.
About it regularly. We had some other scares in the early days.
I warned him about it. I don't know why he didn't heed my warning.
Very protective, particularly we were worried about Molly, becoming.
What scares, dude?
We had to.
That's what I'd like to know about.
We did the show
because they said we had a few scares.
Zealous to get to various.
What does that even mean?
That they were fixated on.
Some creeps.
Wait, no, they did. That's right. We talked about this like the last week. They had a stalker.
Deja vu. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The Jacob thing was.
Yeah, we got to re-record this segment because I fucked up the first.
Was heartbreaking, a lot of tears, but we were also very
When we did this the other week.
The first 17 minutes.
2 weeks ago. Not the first 17 minutes. When we already watched where he's talking about Jacob getting molested, but
we have to give our second take on it.
Jacob and
we've had time to process it.
Came out and talked about
just like Matt
getting
has.
this off his mind and chest so that he could develop and continue his growth. I think were his words. His post said it all.
His words, not mine.
And his,
he's like, let this be clear.
Revelation said everything we needed to know.
Whatever happened there.
We were all taken aback and devastated by it. To think it's something.
And Jacob told me once. He said, "I'll try anything once."
So close inside the family, but I just saw Jacob.
You win some, you lose some.
Talked to him on the phone several times since. Him and I
strike out now and then.
I gave him a good talking to.
Relationship. Every time he's here on the farm, we visit for a while and talk. And right now, he's really into micro. But Jacob's a super duper smart kid.
What did he say? He's in Minecraft?
He's really into. He's really smart.
He's
really into bionics.
The science of
Bionicles.
Fertile soil. Dad, you gotta start compost.
Microbiology.
Connecting recently on
Microbioticals.
composting and microbiology and all the little bugs and worms that eat compost and make it fertile and stuff. So I'm very, very excited about.
Okay, is that good? Is that answer? Am I done?
Yeah.
Can we move on to the next question, please?
Zooms in on his face. It's just
this incident behind him. So what we're working with him on that. We're open to talk about it, but he's
so no talk of criminal charges, no talk of contacting the
I'll be honest with
police.
you, Matt. There's no telling how many.
There's no reason.
They have prevented from.
Be honest with you, Matt. I don't believe a word you're saying.
As a former New York police detective, I don't believe a word you're saying, Matt.
A few times he started the program Vets for Child Rescue. He goes after these sexual predators. He talks a lot about this gloomy process that Jacob went through with this predator, and it is a bigger problem.
Okay, I thought we agreed one question only about
so many
molestation.
people that are out there, and the result, the path of destruction they leave behind is very detrimental.
Well, you hear about just a fraction of them going on the news and TV,
and none of them on the farm, though.
0%.
Let me reiterate.
Anytime, anywhere. It can happen.
Hear about it, but not here.
It can happen to your family members.
Your neighborhoods, your houses, your office buildings.
And your church.
But never a farm. Never farms that are businesses.
So, it's
perfectly safe here. Bring your kids.
Certainly, it was a wake-up call for me.
You might think again, easy to get lost in the pumpkin patch.
It's a double-down effort to make more rules, more precaution. Figure out
COVID testing.
About discussing.
Yeah, everyone's COVID tested on their way in.
And that
we have a lab on site.
Every person out there needs.
I'm building a lab, a COVID testing lab.
We had a lot of rules about access and this and this happened in an incident. This person was no longer associated with the farm or the show or what happened years after his association, but came back into Jacob's life somehow, and it was sort of an evil process that went on.
He was an evil man.
We just, but now it's okay, we got to redouble our efforts.
Question, please,
Every parent,
God,
it's a warning to every parent. Amy and I thought
It's like, before this, I couldn't think of how could the Holocaust happen, but now I know.
Obviously, when you hear about this as a father.
Yeah, when good men like me do nothing.
Not only devastated,
Kids get molested.
but you're devastated of how you didn't protect your child. So
you're devastated how your wife didn't protect your child.
And,
Yeah.
Also
Now, Amy, I always thought she didn't mother him enough.
Worth and self as a father. How
I used to tell her.
My part.
Also bad.
My part.
Must be Amy's fault.
Yeah, I
I
showed him how to use all those levers and the
It's
backhoes.
close to my heart. My wife went through sexual abuse as a child, so she's super alert when it comes to things like identifying people who are around our kids. Has your vetting process? I know when pumpkin season comes, you hire on a lot more people to come on.
Thank you for the sympathy,
now
man.
you have little
Thank you.
grandkids running around. Has anything has your vetting process changed?
Revving up
at
for
all
the
as a
answer,
result
look at
of
him.
what's
He's like,
happening
yeah,
with Jake?
okay.
We've always been pretty good about running background checks, particular vendors and people that are close.
The Mexicans are tricky because they don't have any form of ID, but
employees. But we now.
I have them sleep in tents outside, so they're not really around.
Tripled. And
Well, no, he just fills them in his ark. He puts them in his ark, dude.
And
Yeah.
you just turn it back for a second, and there's the wrong relationship starting to. So I would say our vetting process is definitely there's a whole new layer of concern. And
Yeah, before we didn't send background checks to the
especially,
state.
we're talking a lot to Zach and Tori and Jeremy and Audrey, just like
We just asked him, did you molest kids?
how stuff happens.
No, all
and,
right, good enough.
what those
Well, I wanted to ask that question, but Amy said no, so.
we're
Yeah.
super protective.
Yeah, good stuff. And then
I always wanted this. I always wanted this, but Amy said, if we can just save a few extra dollars.
Yeah, he hasn't. I'm surprised he hasn't taken many jabs at Amy yet.
Unfortunately, we've been through this.
Oh, he knows all the eyes are on him,
It's a
dude.
devastating result, and it's very hard.
He knows.
Especially as
Well, yeah, exactly. All the more reason
He knows.
to throw her under the bus.
He knows Team Amy's scouts are out there looking.
Are watching him.
Soldiers.
Father to watch my wife go through this, and it's just because what happens is we kind of get this mental image and excitement once we find out we're pregnant. So we already.
I didn't realize you left that
our
comment on there the last
Going
time.
to be coming, boy or girl, thinking of names, thinking how our
I watched
older
it back
brothers or
and saw
sisters
it.
are going to react to it. Are they going to be a good big brother? And we have all these things that we see, and then in just an instant, it gets wiped out, and that vision dies with it. So, what was it like? What was it like for Tori to go through this? And how did you kind of handle this with Tori and Zach?
Well, obviously.
Well, I mean, I didn't talk to her. I mean, that's not my job.
To them, and as a grandpa, you're kind of once removed from it, and you still.
That's his wife. Like, what do you want from me?
Process you described,
If you ask me, this Chris guy, something's not right with him.
Be like in a new
I
person.
think, I think you should all be looking at him, not me.
The personality, and then. You get
And this whole Jacob thing, maybe we need to point fingers at Chris.
And support. I think the biggest revelation.
The producer was the fall guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How common it is. How many people.
Chris just masterminds the whole thing.
And, so I'm again super happy Tori put something out publicly.
It'd be funny if the photo in the back, his grandfather just has a Klan hat on.
And grandpas all over.
Doesn't look like that
Just
type of
the hood,
boy, yeah.
Grandpas kind of get, are the second, thing, but I think that the Zach and Tori and Zach particularly.
Interviewer's starting to
been
get a
very
little
good about
uncomfortable.
keeping me up to date, and
Yeah.
Karen's been.
Yeah, and he's secretly still a detective. He just interviews people that he tries to get them to admit to crimes.
That's why he was interviewing the Trump
support
film.
team. So it's devastating, but you're not alone, and so
It's devastating, just totally devastating, devastating. How many times can I say this?
Amy.
She's strong.
What was the question?
Woman, and so she's figuring it out and processing it, and
She's a lot stronger than Jake. I wouldn't see that happening to her.
At this tragic adversity.
And I think the key point, Matt, too, is what I always tried to remind my wife of every time we went through this was that it wasn't her fault. It's not her fault that this happened, and I would hope that that's the same
his son
Tori
get
gets and know
diddled
that
too?
it's not her fault. This is a common thing.
I think the jury's all out on
90% of the time. There's
Still out on
nothing
that.
you could do to prevent
Yeah, I don't know,
this from
Matt.
happening,
You
so.
sound kind of guilty to me.
And then, Matt, while
Yeah.
I got you here, I wanted to address some of the rumors that I read. I read quite often. I keep up to date with you
Oh,
sometimes.
that's the fun part of the conversation.
I
This is the fun part of the conversation.
What could this be?
Has no idea what the rumors are. It's probably serious stuff like, okay, is Amy's new boyfriend would be funny if he's like, know anything about his past.
I wanted to hit this one here. We mentioned, we did a little bit, we were talking about with the farm, but it says here, Matt Roloff plans to retire in 2022.
Matt Roloff, gay.
I don't know where these people come up with this stuff.
Roloff is a terrible narcissist.
Now, that particular one, I just laughed at it. I'm like, wait a minute, did I say I was retired? I do, talk about only in the comments.
What have I even been saying? He just keeps itching his nose.
One of the kids to start mowing the lawn, like, hey guys, I want to start retiring, but no, there's no serious real talk about it in retirement.
He's probably just on some sort of amphetamine.
Came up on my news flash.
I would hope you'd give this to me, Matt.
That he's prescribed.
Yeah, I would talk to you about it.
It's for my pain.
Matt Roloff would rather Jeremy take over the Roloff farm rather than Zach.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
I have no preference on taking on farm. What I
not even a close call.
Ideally, I'd like an able-bodied person, but
I love having the kids come together.
Us freaks got to stay together.
Involvement in taking over the farm.
I could see Jeremy taking it because Zach is just pussy.
Maybe one would, live in the house, while the other one would help with this, and they would share in the benefits of the ownership of the farm. I mean,
literally.
His wife's not a pig.
Now having an interest in dirt, I don't want Jacob to be involved. If he wants to take it and make a big compost pile, and have a little corner of the farm.
I keep making a big deal about I just don't trust Zach's judgment. He got that big fucking dog.
Some sort of seat at the table, if you will, on the future of the farm. And so whether we can work that out,
and we got plenty of sties for Tori and her family if they want to move into a barn and start, they can take over a little patch of the grass they can eat.
It's true that Jeremy has always kind of been the de facto, people have just
and of the family.
But all the kids want to have some sort of, finger in the pie, so to speak. They all, maybe not.
They're all going to sell it.
But maybe
Zach and Tori are going to do their own spin-off, but it's not going to have anything to do with the farm. You can imagine Zach running a farm.
Oh, yeah, he's such a cuck.
Yeah, but he would have such a tough time just having the vehicles come in, like he couldn't even organize that.
Yeah, he'd just be standing there looking at them, just like shaking his head and just scratching his head.
And he's got a huge radio.
Yeah, and Tori's just like trying to do it, and she's pregnant with their 6th kid.
Yeah.
He's like, well, just get those TLC checks.
How many burgers you guys need?
Yeah.
Alex,
just burning them.
Sometimes I laugh and sometimes I cry at what people. Sometimes sometimes I bite my tongue off because we've been.
It'd be funny if this was prior to Jake's or.
That'd be so fun if he's like, sometimes I just see this group and they just message all our social media accounts and they just bother me. They use my picture with a cowboy hat.
Super thick skin. They grew up with this. To have thick skin. Don't worry about it. Just ignore it.
It'd be funny if this is pre Jacob's saying about the molestation. And Matt's like, and I hear us rumor that Jacob's been molested. I mean, that's ridiculous.
No way. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh my God.
Give me a break.
On or off the farm.
Was something about Matt Roloff. Relied on a PPP loan.
Well, I have that written down here, Matt.
What do you got?
You know what it was?
I don't know.
Because I know you had to reduce the amount of people, like everybody else with COVID. Some people had to get laid off. Some people had to.
I got $5 million from the PPP
you kept
thing.
The farm rolling through COVID.
Okay.
So I was surprised.
That'd be hilarious.
That it said that you took out something like a $200,000 PPE loan. I was surprised to hear that.
Oh,
What
never.
actually happened?
I took no PPP. None. Zero. And that one news
Edit that. I took no PP.
Other ones picked up from them. Matt Roloff relies on PPP. It's not true. That didn't happen. And Matt Roloff.
Oh, he's getting a little heated now. See, this is an answer that he actually does care.
Yeah, because
prepared. You know what? It's irresponsible.
Because this is him.
He's just
lying on.
Got caught. Really is what it is.
Yeah, I got caught taking $200,000 from the government.
Yeah.
Free money.
Alright, so I'll actually.
It's free money.
Yeah.
Remember him with the Riddler?
Alright, I'll actually answer this question honestly. This is pissing me off.
Yeah.
Number one.
I mean, we watched 20 minutes of this if we want to.
That information. Shame on them.
Oh yeah, you want to? Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, and shame on them.
Shame on them. So here we'll end it.
Yeah.
For writing something like that. Not if they're sophisticated.
38 minutes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. They're sophisticated. What's another theory about Matt? I don't know.
It's another response to me, dude. Yeah.
That he has 10 DUIs.
No, I'm just getting so many people just responding to me.
Look what we got here, Milk.
Just, oh shit.